US officials have admitted that the number of Guantanamo Bay detainees on a hunger strike has almost doubled since last week. They've also said that at least 8 inmates are being force-fed, but they're dismissing lawyers' claims of prisoner abuse. Russia, for its part, voiced concern over the hunger strike, while the UN human rights body is taking a cautious stance on the issue. Let's talk live now to Dennis Kucinich, former Democratic spokesman and two-time presidential candidate. Mr. Kucinich, morning to you. We hear that now that the Pentagon is confirming upping the numbers of the detainees on hunger strike to 25. What does it tell us? They were certainly more cautious before. Are they giving into pressure now?
We should be very concerned. This is a serious human rights issue. And we also have a question of America, my beloved country, abandoning its constitutional principles because when prisoners are under the U.S. control and discretion, they should have the same rights that any other prisoner would have. They should have the right to be able to toll the charges against them, a right to a speedy trial, a right to habeas corpus, which would enable them to be released if charges can't be leveled. This is a black mark on our beloved nation.
But why is it
and
continuing,
the hunger strike
sir?
only points out how dire it is.
But why is it continuing? President Obama has said many times before he's going to close it. Why is it not happening?
Yeah, this is the limitations of American politics. You know, we got into a war based on lies. The war on terror has taken us on an aggressive path globally, and part of the problem is that we end up putting together these secret sites with rendition, or in Guantanamo's case, a site that we know exists with prisoners who haven't even been charged. It is continuing because our political process has failed to come to terms with the rationale for war, with the so-called global war on terror, and what to do with people who you've held in captivity without charge. If they're so threatening, where's the information about what they've done? And if they're not threatening, why are we holding them? This is right out of the writer Franz Kafka.
As a former congressman, what do you think it would need to happen for Guantanamo to close?
The president has to make the decision as an executive decision. And I would say that he has the ability to do that. Now,
so why isn't he? Again, I say, why?
He can, well, you know, look, try this. It costs about $2,000 a day per prisoner to be able to hold people at Guantanamo. Now, in order to put somebody in a maximum security prison in the United States, it costs a fraction of that. We have a problem here, which is not a law enforcement problem. It's a human rights problem, and it's a constitutional problem. And so we have to come to terms with that, and President Obama is going to have to step up and make the decision to close Guantanamo, as he's promised, and to move forward to direct these prisoners to various sites within the reach of and the jurisdiction of the United States, and charge them so that they can move forward. And if you can't charge them, and you have to do what you do in any case when you can't charge someone, you release them. We have no right to hold people indefinitely without charges, without a trial, and without people having access to a justice system. That's against every principle of law which exists in the world.
And of course, it's not just Guantanamo that's a child of the war on terror, is it? There's also internet surveillance, there's also the Patriot Act. How long is all this going to continue?
Well, keep in mind that the president last year signed a directive that kept the United States technically in a state of emergency that was first declared right after 9/11. So the United States is still groping through the darkness of extra-constitutional decisions, of rules that have sharply constrained the exercise of our constitutional privileges, of a government that's more involved in spying, of a government that's interested in what people are in their educational records, in their financial records, a government which has given the FBI extraordinary powers. We have a problem here. We've got to regain our liberties. We've got to start to listen to the concerns that the American people have about a country which has prided itself on its institutions providing freedom, starting to lose that freedom.
Mr. Kucinich, very quick answer if you can for my next question. Just looking back at the history of Guantanamo, has it provided any assistance at all in the battle against terrorism?
Look, I think that question answers itself. It is my opinion that the more that we move this war on terror globally, the more security risks the United States has.
Dennis Kucinich, former Congressman, thank you very much. Much appreciated.